This is magical Maggie Morpheus coming to you live from the mothership. And what we doing today? What we've always been doing at our channel. So what we've been doing is a beautiful slow crawl on Excuses Be Gone by Dr. Wayne Dyer, who we love. And why are we doing this? We are doing this because it is a book on how to change lifelong self-defeating thinking habits. And if you just kick one of these habits to the curb, you are going to transform your whole life. So as you can see today, I have a little more of my magical Maggie Magical Morpheus quality. I got a wonderful comment online that said this chair reminded them of Morpheus in the Matrix. And that's exactly what we're up to. We are up to cracking that matrix open so you can have your best life. And we are also here building the New Earth social memory complex so that we can all be upgrading into a new world of love, compassion, peace, and large sums of money, the best economy in the world. So we've got a little bit of Harry Potter going on here. We've got a little bit of Matrix going on here, and we got a lot of it Maggie going on here. So I want to thank you very much for supporting me on my channel. So we're going to get right to it. So as you all know, we are in part 2, chapter 10, the 7th principle, compassion, which we are enjoying. So here we go. Compassion and excuses. It is impossible to need excuses when the focus of life shifts to how may I serve. Thinking of others first, reaching out to them despite how it might inconvenience you, causes you to feel joy, which is what the hungry traveler was actually seeking. This gift is feeling good or feeling God within that comes from serving and surrendering rather than asking and demanding. There's no room for blame in your life as long as you live with kindness. Blaming your past, blaming your economy, blaming your perceived personal faults, blaming God, blaming your parents, blaming your DNA. There's no shortage. Blaming your children or your spouse. There's no shortage of circumstances, people, or events to blame. And there's no shortage of blame itself. When you shift to compassion, all blame disappears. Voila. So no matter what you may want for yourself, discover how you can want it more for someone else. Woo! And then make the shift. That is a shifting sneeze-a-roo. So in that contemplative moment, compassion will eradicate finger pointing. Because remember what they say, when you point a finger, 3 more point back at you. So we got to look at ourselves. And it'll also eradicate Trump excuse making. So you'll begin to think like God thinks, serving, offering, giving, and loving freely. The wise woman in the mountains who gave the precious stone to the stranger had no need to think of poverty or unhappiness, or to hold a cynical view towards the greedy masses, or to explain the way she lived her life. Why? Because her ego was out of the picture and love and service reigned supreme. And that's what we are all about. We are where love and compassion and peace and higher order values reign supreme. So I have certainly found that when I remember to nurture kindness and courtesy, everything in my life seems to move towards the harmony and peace, to say nothing of how much I feel better when I'm giving rather than wanting. I heard the Dalai Lama speak at about compassion some years back, and the essence of his message contained these 2 points. So we're kind of repeating yesterday's message to a point because this is important. Compassion is the single most important quality humanity needs to learn. And this is the way to find happiness and health and to feel successful. And war and violence will become extinct in 1 generation if beginning at age 5, children were taught to meditate on compassion for an hour a week for the rest of their lives. Such is the power of compassionate approach to life, which is truly thinking of others and living from the ancient golden rule. The very second you feel yourself returning to excuses, repeat the mantra, how may I serve? Then act upon the answers you receive. You'll become aligned with the universal mind, which is always giving. And the bonus is that you'll notice that the universe is asking you back, how may I serve you? And as your compassion for others flows back to you, you'll remember the truth I've always written about in many of my books. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are. So make compassion be what you are. And many of you, if you're on different spectrums of the scale of consciousness, you're kind of in a dark night, don't be discouraged, because each step that you take towards the healing, each step that you take towards purifying, cleansing yourself, choosing a higher order value, you will heal. If you do the work will do you. So, 3 questions. For the past several years, I celebrated Father's Day in a way that reflects what this chapter is about. I give special gifts to my 8 children rather than receiving presents from them. Being a father of one of the greatest privileges that I've ever enjoyed for more than 40 years. Yes, I agree. Fathers, you are so critical and you are so important, and we so love you. And mothers, it's the same thing. It is the greatest privilege. We so thank you, we so love you, and we appreciate you. Okay, I considered it an incredible honor as well as a sacred undertaking to parent my 6 beautiful girls and 2 handsome boys. So it's my wish to thank them for choosing me as their dad and for allowing me to play this glorious role in their lives. I think of the responsibilities of raising and supporting a child as an amazing gift, because to be able to fully support another human being is as close to being a place of God's realization as there is. So are you hearing this, parents? And just all of us in the New Earth complex, we are helping ourselves, but we are also helping another up. And through that process, it's a whole quantum field of people coming up. So, and that's, as he said, his realization is that it's close to being in a place of God realization as there is, right? That's the giving state. That's the compassionate state. But it's also, as we learned in yesterday's video, it's also receiving with grace. So, after all, when God contemplates us into existence, doesn't he or she support us and allow the free will to choose a compassionate existence? Oh, yes. This past Father's Day, my gift to my children was a copy of Leo Tolstoy's short story, The 3 Questions. Tolstoy tells of a king who was certain that if he just knew the best time to act, the right people to listen to, and above all, the most important thing to do at all times, he'd never fail in anything he might undertake. So he proclaimed that he would bountifully reward anyone in his kingdom who would teach him the answer to these 3 questions. Many learned men came to see the king, but since they all responded differently, he didn't agree with any of them. None of these men were rewarded. But the king still greatly desired to have these 3 questions answered, so he decided to consult a hermit who was widely renowned in his wisdom. The reclusive old man received only common folk, so the king put on simple clothes, left his bodyguards, dismounted from the horse, and went to see him alone. When the disguised king reached the hermit, he asked him these 3 questions, but the elder fellow did not answer. Noting that the hermit was very frail and attempting to dig some flower beds, the king took over, shoveling earth for hours. When he attempted his questions again, the hermit noticed a bearded man running out of the woods, holding his hands over a profusely bleeding wound in his abdomen. The hermit and the king took the bearded man inside and tended to him. The next morning, the man asked the king to forgive him, and even though the ruler was certain he had never seen this individual before, the injured man explained, You do not know me, but I know you. I am the enemy of yours, who swore to revenge himself to you, because you executed his brother and seized his property. I knew you had gone alone to see the hermit, and I resolved to kill you on your way back. But the day passed and you did not return, so I came out from my ambush to find you. I came upon your bodyguards, and they recognized me and wounded me. I escaped from them, but should have bled to death. Had you not dressed my wound, I wished to kill you, and you have saved my life. So now, if I live, and if you wish it, I will serve you as the most faithful slave, and will bind my sons to do the same. Forgive me. The king not only forgave him, but he also said he'd send his servants in his own physician to tend to the man, and he promised to give him back the property that had been taken from him. At that point, the king went outside and saw the hermit placing seeds in the beds that he had dug the day before. He decided to ask the old sage his 3 questions one final time, and was surprised when the elderly fellow responded that his queries had already been answered. Here we are, listen in. How answered? What do you mean? asked the king. Do you not see? Replied the hermit. If you had not pitied my weakness yesterday, and had not dug those beds for me, but had gone your way, that man would have attacked you, and you would have repented of not having stayed with me. So the most important time was when you were digging the beds. And I was the most important man, and to do me good was your most important business. Afterwards, when the man ran to us, the most important time was when you were attending to him. For if you had not bound up his wounds, he would have died without having made peace with you. So he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. Remember then, there is only one time that is important, and that's now. Now. It is the most important time because it is the only time when you have power, any power. The most necessary man is he with whom you are. For no man knows whether he will ever have dealings with anyone else, and the most important affair is to do him good, because for that purpose alone was man sent into this life. So wait, let's please hear that one more time. So he was the most important man, and what you did for him was your most important business. So remember this. There is only one time that is important. Now! Exclamation point! And it is the most important time because it is the only time when you have any power. So when is that? Now. The most necessary man is he with whom you are, for no man knows whether he will ever have dealings with anyone else. And the most important affair is to do him good, because for that purpose alone was man sent into this life. So let's go over the 3 questions as they pertain to your living from a place of compassion. As you read, so we're gonna park here. What a beautiful story. So now is the point of power. And now the person with you, whether it's you or others, is the most important person in that moment. To be fully present and also to trust the process, right? If you're going through the dark night of the soul and crap's happening to you, you got to trust the process. You have to do the work. You know, you do the work and the work will do you. You can't just, sit back and not take action. But take those deep looks, look into yourself. You're so worth it. And just see what might need to be moved and shaped into your new reality. And also continue to remember, you matter. And the point of power is now. And so, on that note, take the time now to start moving in the directions of your dreams, your purpose, your chief aim in life, all that. You know what I'm talking about. You've got things to do and you got to get to work. So, or you got to get to play, however you want to do it. But I want to thank you so much for joining me for this beautiful read. As we slowly crawl through Excuses Be Gone by Dr. Wayne Dyer, whom we love. So thank you so much. I appreciate you joining me, and I know you're having a wonderful day. All right, and you know what's next. Peace in, peace